Chill here with Sirius Taurus Moon Hour Saturn Day and 7 degrees Ascendant on Ketu Sagittarius with 18 degrees Midheaven on Ketu. And of course, I want to talk about the September eclipses. The reason that I popped up again with the September eclipses is the path of totality. And the path of totality tells us where do we see the eclipse from. And we're going to have two eclipses in September. One, September 7, 2025, very near. So yes, some people have solar returns juxtaposed to that. So happy solar return to Virgos. And this is going to be visible from Europe, Africa, Asia, Australia, and New Zealand, which I try to think what could connect all of these, and it's kind of giving kind of viral thingy. I know there is also polio in outbreak in Europe, but this could be something of that sort in the background. And I think the notes are on the 18th degree, so it's given toxic. And the next one is involving the Arctic, which prompted me to press record. Arctic, Pacific, and New Zealand, which to me is screaming NATO. And I want to go and look at that eclipse again, September 21, 2025, and so September, and we have the 21, which is on the 29th degree of Virgo, 17 degrees. So this one is already 17 degrees Rahu. At least not viral, not in that way. There is a trine to Uranus, which conjoins Sedna. So what can we predict for the Pacific? First of all, we had the cord cutting cables with China, fumble with the cables in the Pacific, and we might have something of that sort happening again, because this is with Saturn is infrastructure, and Saturn is right opposing the eclipse. With Uranus, it's World Wide Web type of infrastructure, and there can be something on air as well. So there can be like a mass hacking to the aircraft or the drones. Palantir mass hacking, Palantir mass leaking, and we forgot Starlink. Okay, it's kind of like all eyes on Peter Thiel, but the satellites are actually there regardless of Palantir. So any AI-based weapon technology, any system that can be hacked, will be hacked and will be leaked. That's Murphy's Law. More things to do with that. Minerals, crisis around minerals. There can be lack of some minerals, sudden finding. Have you noticed there have been a lot of sudden findings or sudden disclosure of findings of new mines, of rare earth minerals and minerals. We're going to have more of these, and this is something that completely changes the map. Now, of course, you must understand there are mediums and channelers sitting pretty on psychedelics and a bountiful of torture trying to channel these things, not with Sedna. Fragmented soul gives fragmented information. And that's what I think we might. My prediction is that we may have, because this is applied science, we may have an applied form where the channeling of where the minerals are falls flat because of the system of torture that got people to channel through torture, and they would begin to get incorrect information, that particularly about life and death situations, minerals, because Sedna is about betrayal and the extrasensory. But with the sextile to Neptune is simply meaning that the extrasensory can betray, so to speak, the CIA or the intelligence or the KGB, or I don't know what would be the MI6, Mossad, or so on, that was operating it, or the Chinese that was operating it. Because Saturn Neptune is giving us the holistic, it's kind of like an expiration date on trajectories that are no longer served. And when it comes to dissociation, it's an expiration date to the knowledge that we can accurately describe as true when it comes to using dissociation malefically. What do I mean by that? When it comes to satanic ritual abuse, there was a lot of people talking about false memory, and while it's absolutely possible to overlay certain trajectories through torture, when it comes to recovered memory from trauma, it's not false memory. That being said, when it comes to torturing a person to give information, even if it's kind of stored in some sort of dissociated compartment of the brain and it's being read, the composition is not going to be accurate. They're going to be missing information. Saturn 29, Libra, Venus, Venus, Venus in Mercury. I knew it. It's going to be a missing link that only the people that are aligned and not achieved extrasensory perception through torture, or if they achieve through some crisis, they have aligned and recovered from trauma so that they are sovereign in their mediumship, and they will have the missing link that no other intelligence has. And I said what I said. Housing first, believe the patient, have them free to speak regardless of no consequences to their saying their testimony whatsoever for the entire life, and you have the number one intelligence, number one insider information, not just on planet Earth. Mark my words. And I think that suffices.